All right, Dodgers fans, let's get into it, because last night's game was one of those that you just cannot wrap your head around. Los Angeles had everything under control, everything was falling into place, and then it all slipped away in the late innings. They walked into the matchup against Arizona with momentum, confidence, and Shohei Ohtani on the mound. You could not ask for a better setup. Ohtani has been nothing short of electric recently, almost untouchable, and many thought this would be another highlight reel outing that ended with a comfortable Dodgers win. Early on, that's exactly how it looked. The offense showed up right out of the gate, and when you're holding a 4-0 lead midway through the game, it feels like you're already halfway home. The bats were doing their part, and Ohtani looked sharp once again, mixing pitches, painting corners, racking up strikeouts. 8 punch-outs with no walks. That's as clean as it gets. He scattered just 5 hits, and for most of the night had Arizona hitters completely off balance. After the near no-hitter in his previous outing, everyone expected him to dominate again, and for the most part, he did exactly that. But this loss wasn't about Ohtani. It wasn't about the lineup failing to hit. It wasn't about the defense missing routine plays. It was all about the bullpen collapse, and that has been the story far too often this season. Fans have seen it repeatedly over the past month, and it feels like no lead is safe once the starters hand the ball over. Last night was a prime example of how dangerous that could be in September baseball when every game counts double. Arizona came in hungry, desperate for a postseason spot, fighting for their playoff lives. On the other side, Los Angeles needed just a handful of wins to finally put the division away, and with San Diego breathing down their necks, this game mattered more than ever. That 4-run cushion should have been more than enough to cruise to victory, especially with how Ohtani set the tone, but once the bullpen gate opened, things spiraled quickly. Relievers couldn't find the strike zone, couldn't miss bats, and couldn't lock down outs when they needed them most. Names like Dreyer, Enriquez, Vija, and of course Tanner Scott all took the mound, but none of them delivered. Every single one had a rough outing, and the domino effect was disastrous. Going into the 9th inning with a slim 1-run advantage, the expectation is simple. Close it out, walk away with a win, lower that magic number, and get ready for the next one. Instead, what happened was another blown save, another heartbreaking loss, and another reason for fans to question whether this bullpen is built for October baseball. Tanner Scott has been under the microscope all season long, and last night only added fuel to the fire. High-priced reliever, one of the most expensive in the league, yet leading baseball in blown saves. That combination is infuriating for fans and terrifying for the front office. How do you trust him in high-leverage situations moving forward? It's almost unimaginable to think of him closing games in the postseason if things keep going this way. Unless he flips the script and delivers something extraordinary in October, it is hard to see him in a Dodgers uniform next season. And that's the frustrating part for everyone watching, because the offense did enough to win. Dioscandes came through in a big way, with a home run and 3 runs batted in. Ben Rortvedt also chipped in with key hits. A 4-run lead should be enough, especially for a reigning World Series contender. Fans are not wrong to expect the team to finish the job when holding that kind of advantage in the 7th inning. But the bullpen turned it into a nightmare, and now the standings are tighter than ever. The Dodgers sit just 1.5 games ahead of San Diego with 5 games left to play. That gap feels dangerously slim, especially when you consider San Diego only has 4 games remaining and is playing against a Milwaukee team that looks like it's coasting to the finish line. The Brewers, one of the top teams in the National League, were shut out 7-0, and earlier in the week dropped another close one. It almost looks like they're resting, saving energy for October, while San Diego is taking full advantage of their lack of urgency. That contrast makes things even more nerve-wracking for Los Angeles fans, because the Dodgers are not only fighting a hungry Arizona squad, they're also scoreboard watching to see what San Diego does. If Los Angeles had locked down the win last night, the magic number would already be down to 2. The division would feel within reach, and the final week would carry much less stress. Instead, the door is still cracked open for San Diego to sneak in, and that changes the vibe completely. Tonight suddenly becomes one of the most important games of the season. Blake Snell is set to take the mound, and he has to deliver. There's no sugarcoating it. The Dodgers need this win in Arizona, plain and simple. If San Diego picks up another victory this afternoon against Milwaukee and Los Angeles drops another one to the Diamondbacks, the lead shrinks to just half a game. That is razor thin. Then imagine the Dodgers losing again tomorrow, and suddenly we're looking at a tie for the division going into the final weekend of the season. That would be an unthinkable scenario for a team that has held first place all year long. A collapse in the last week would not only be embarrassing, it would be catastrophic for the momentum heading into October. This is why the next few days feel like playoff baseball already. The division isn't wrapped up. The magic number is not low enough to relax, and the bullpen cannot be trusted to hold any kind of lead. Fans know it, the players know it, and the pressure is only going to keep building with each passing inning. The goal now has to be simple. Win tonight, shrink that number, and try to lock up the National League West by Thursday or Friday at the latest. That way, the team can exhale, rest some regulars, and give Ohtani and others a much-needed break before the postseason grind begins. What nobody wants is to stumble into the playoffs as a wild card team after leading the division all summer. That would feel like an implosion, and while the Dodgers would still have the talent to make a run, the energy, confidence, and momentum would be completely different. This team has to secure the division. There's no question about it. The fans know how important it is, and so does the clubhouse. What makes last night's collapse even harder to swallow is how preventable it felt. Every fan watching from home or in the ballpark saw the game unfold like a textbook Dodgers win. They saw Shohei Ohtani do his job, saw the offense put up runs early, saw momentum building, and then they watched it unravel piece by piece once the bullpen stepped in. This is not the first time it has happened, and the longer it continues, the more it feels like a genuine weakness that could define the season. Championship teams rely on strong relief pitching to close the door, to take pressure off the starters, and to protect slim leads. Right now, the Dodgers simply do not have that security, and the timing could not be worse. Think about how dominant Ohtani has been. He has shown that when he is on the mound, hitters barely stand a chance. Even when Arizona managed to scratch out a few hits, he never lost command, never issued a walk, and continued to pile up strikeouts. A pitcher delivering 8 strikeouts and keeping his team ahead should be walking away with a victory. That should be a storyline about another night of Ohtani brilliance, another step toward the division crown. Instead, the entire narrative was stolen by the bullpen's inability to finish the job. It is like watching a masterpiece crumble before the paint dries, and that frustration is boiling over in the fan base. What makes it sting even more is how crucial this stretch is. The National League West is still hanging in the balance, and it should not be. By this point, Los Angeles should have already clinched or at least pushed the magic number down so low that the pressure would be gone. Instead, every game is a must-win. Every pitch feels like it carries the weight of the entire season, and the players are visibly feeling that stress. When you're only 1.5 games up with 5 left to play, there is no margin for error, and with San Diego charging from behind, the margin feels even thinner. San Diego's situation makes it even worse for Dodgers fans. They're capitalizing on every opportunity, beating a Milwaukee team that seems to be coasting and inching closer each day. Yesterday's 7-run shutout win was another reminder that they are playing hard while Los Angeles is stumbling. Milwaukee, on the other hand, looks like they have nothing left to prove before the postseason, and that is dangerous for the Dodgers because it gives San Diego the chance to rack up easy wins while Los Angeles is stuck fighting for their lives against an Arizona team with everything to play for. That contrast is striking. One team facing a contender that looks checked out, the other facing a desperate squad clawing for every victory. If San Diego does what they are supposed to and takes care of business, the Dodgers cannot afford another night like last night. They cannot hand away leads. They cannot waste Ohtani's brilliance. And they cannot continue to rely on a bullpen that has lost the trust of the fan base. Every misstep allows San Diego to creep closer, and once the division is in doubt, the pressure multiplies instantly. Imagine walking into Seattle for the final weekend tide, or trailing by half a game. That is the nightmare scenario everyone is thinking about. The Dodgers absolutely need to lock this division up before the weekend. If they can get it done Thursday or Friday, they can take the final 2 days of the season to breathe, rotate the lineup, give stars like Ohtani a rest, and prepare mentally for the postseason. The schedule allows them to reset if they handle their business quickly. But if they continue to stumble, those last games in Seattle could become an all-out war, draining energy and leaving the team exhausted before October even begins. That is exactly the kind of situation you want to avoid, especially for a team that has been in first place all year and should not even be in this position. Tanner Scott has become the face of the bullpen struggles, and not in a good way. Fans are losing patience, and it is hard to see how he fits in moving forward. His blown saves pile up, his price tag looks heavier with every outing, and his confidence seems shaken. For Los Angeles, the decision is looming large. How do you keep running him out there when every appearance feels like a gamble? The postseason is unforgiving. One mistake, one blown lead, and the season can end. That reality is why fans are calling for changes, and it is why the front office is going to have tough conversations once the season ends. Unless he suddenly flips the script in October and carries the bullpen on his back, it feels inevitable that he will be wearing another uniform next season. Still, this is not about pointing fingers at just one reliever. The truth is the entire bullpen has been shaky, and that is a collective issue. Championship runs are built on reliable late-inning arms, and right now, Los Angeles does not have that. They have talent, yes, but consistency is nowhere to be found. Until that changes, the question will remain. Can this group actually hold up in October when the stakes rise and the pressure is unlike anything else? That is why tonight against Arizona feels so massive. Blake Snell is on the mound, and he carries the weight of not just winning a single game, but stabilizing a season that feels like it is teetering on the edge. If he delivers, if the bullpen finally locks down the late innings, then the Dodgers can breathe a little easier, push the magic number closer to 0, and look ahead with confidence. If not, if the same script repeats itself, then the panic will grow louder, the standings will tighten further, and the possibility of a historic collapse will become very real. Dodger Stadium and the fan base expect more than this. They expect a team that has been dominant all year to finish strong, not limp into the playoffs under a cloud of doubt. They expect a bullpen that can protect leads, not turn every late inning into a nightmare. And they expect this group, led by stars like Ohtani, to prove that they're not just regular season champions, but postseason contenders. The window is still open to do that, but it starts now, with every pitch, every at-bat, and every decision carrying the weight of a season on the line. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment. In a move that has sent shockwaves through Major League Baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers have reportedly secured the services of RONALD ACUñA Jr., one of the game's brightest stars. The announcement, which broke late last night, has instantly become the talk of sports bars, social media feeds, and clubhouse chatter across the country. While official details remain scarce, sources close to the team suggest that the Dodgers are pulling out all the stops to position themselves as perennial World Series contenders. Fans and analysts alike are struggling to digest the magnitude of this potential blockbuster. ACUñA, a player renowned for his blend of power, speed, and charisma, has long been considered untouchable by most clubs. Yet whispers emerging from the Los Angeles front office indicate that a deal of unprecedented scale has been agreed upon, signaling the Dodgers' willingness to invest heavily in talent to chase championship glory. The mere mention of ACUñA in Dodger blue has sparked a frenzy of speculation. How will he fit alongside the team's established stars? What impact will he have on the lineup? And how might this shift the balance of power in the National League? Early reactions suggest that both fans and opponents are bracing for a seismic shift. Social media platforms are overflowing with memes, reactions, and heated debates as followers try to anticipate the ramifications of such a high-profile acquisition. Meanwhile, Insiders hint that ACUñA himself is equally thrilled at the prospect of joining a franchise with a storied history and an electric fan base. If true, his arrival could bring a new dimension to the Dodgers' offensive and defensive strategies, elevating them from perennial contenders to undeniable favorites. Despite the buzz, no official press conference has been scheduled, leaving the rumor mill spinning at full speed. Whether this is the start of a historic era in Los Angeles or simply a tantalizing whisper of what could be, one thing is clear. The baseball world is holding its breath. Should the Dodgers officially confirm Ronald ACUñA Jr. as their newest star, the reverberations will be felt far beyond the West Coast, potentially redefining the landscape of MLB for years to come. For now, fans can only speculate, dream, and debate, while the Dodgers quietly prepare for what could be the most sensational season in recent memory. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.